to lay out the goal, because this run, because of a difference the community took, we now skip the opening cutscene, so you're not going to have as much time to kind of lay out the groundwork. The basic idea of this category is that you need to jump in. Obviously, you know, like any percent run, is to beat the game as quickly as possible. In order to do that here, we need to move through 5 main worlds. And there's a boss at the end of each of the worlds. Once you've beaten the boss at the end of each of those 5 worlds, which you can actually do in any order technically, then you beat the game. Oh, it looks like Twyn is doing old time. So yeah, you guys do get to see the opening cutscene here. It's a little difference in preference in the community. Looks like Twyn electing to just watch it. It's about a minute and a half, then the game gets to get started. But yeah, so there are these teensies, these little blue guys, which you can actually see in the top left corner. You can actually play as one of them. I believe Twyn should be playing as Rayman, though, the flagship character. There are teensies that have been captured. There are 700 total in the game, and we need to save any 260 of them in order to progress all the way through the game. There are many levels that are going to be unlocked. Imagine it's actually very similar to like a Super Mario 64, in that a lot of stuff unlocks quickly, but it has different amount of numbers of the given collectible, which in this game, unlike stars, are the teensies that you need to save in order to unlock them. In all of the normal size levels, kind of the full size levels, there will be 10 of them. 8 of them that are like pretty much on your path. If we're entering a level, we're going to get all 8 of them. We're going to get all 8 of those. And then there are 2 others in there that are like these kind of larger requirements. There are these Queen and King teensies that are going to require us to go into these little side rooms. We don't get a lot of those because we can get enough of just the short ones to where it doesn't really matter. We're only going to I think we get like 9 or so of those in the course of the run. So you're going to see right off the bat here is Rayman. He's going to turn to his left, head back in here, and already grab his first teensy. So yeah, while it is 260, you can see he already got his second one right there. We're going to be blazing through this run. Now, a quick mechanic that was thrown. Originally, this game was going to be a Wii U exclusive. This little second character on screen, the little green character, Murphy. It was going to be, you know, this was a 4-player game, and someone who could hold the gamepad for the Wii U and control this 5th character. Well, when they decided to make this more multi-console, put it on consoles like the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360, and such, they still wanted Murphy to be a part of all these levels they implemented him in, and he's a part of quite a few of the levels. You are actually controlling both Rayman and Murphy at the same time with one controller, which makes for some of the most dynamic, kind of highest skill ceiling levels in the entire game, is having to control not just Rayman, but also what Murphy's doing at the same time. A lot of it with Murphy is based on your position. Like, he knows, all right, once I hit this spot, that's when Murphy's going to kind of snap to a certain platform, then I'm going to press it. So you can't be, you know, you can't dilly-dally with it too much. You have to know exactly when to hit it. Otherwise, Murphy can kind of get stuck on another platform. And through me talking through that, he's already through the first level. Got just the 8 regular teensies there, skipping the Queen and the King. And it's already 8 of his 260 quota that he needs to beat the game. Yes, the Queen and the King in that level are very slow. The Queen is an auto-scroller of sorts. The King's not too slow. There's actually a pretty cool sequence break you can do, but it's neither here nor there. So now we're going to automatically jump into the second level. Looking like Twyn's going to be running on the PC version. It's got pretty fast load times, though. One nice thing about versions like the PC version is that you're going to have those loading screens which give you these hearts. Normally, if you get hit, you're going to die. However, if you pick up a heart, that is going to allow you 1 extra hit. You can see this is a very momentum-based platformer in speed game. Going down hills, you want to try to hold on to that as long as possible. Going down this hill here as well. And then doing these somersaults, and then bouncing off of enemies to kind of chain it all together. You can also see that you can build up a lot of vertical, or just height in general, from doing those somersaults. So he was able to get to one of those teensies back there without having to, like, actually use the pillow there in order to, like, bounce his way up to it. Gonna jump up here. Ground pound from underneath as opposed to punch up at it. Ground pounds in this game are really nice because you actually extend your hitbox vertically, so you can sort of snap things that are above you, and without having to like take the time to say punch up or anything. A little bit of an optimization there that's always fun to do. Taking a damage boost there. A little thing is, in addition to the teensies, there's also the lums in this game, which are the number you can see in the top left corner. You can see the little Rayman icon underneath it as a little number. The more lums you get is going to be something that's useful in a few parts of the game. For the most part, we want that number actually as low as possible, because you can see here in this count up, it is going to count it all up. Now, because you can speed it up in Rayman Legends, it's only frames here and there for every couple lums you get. I think roughly it equates to, or about every 100 extra lums, you're going to waste about a second. And it's a little more significant amount of time if you can stay under those bronze, silver, and gold cut thresholds that are equated to, in these larger levels, 150, 300, and 600 lums, respectively. Right, jumping right in here into the third level. Gimmick about this level is that you have all these butterflies, these little blue butterflies on the ground. Whenever you touch them, it will make a corresponding platform activate and start to move. So Twyn wants to make sure he avoids some of them to keep his platforming at the place where he wants it. He hit that bottom one right there. Just grabbing the teensy underneath. He's going to hit these blue butterflies, activating this vine to go down. Now we'll see if he can try to go for this little skip right here. There is a teensy right down there underneath. Very nice. Skipped hitting the blue butterfly platform back there, or the blue butterflies, in order to make sure that that didn't move down. So then he was able to ground pound it from above the vine, which where its hitbox, it kind of clips above the vine. So with the ground pound, he was able to still break the cage and move on. Right, already 8 from each of these 3 levels. The next level is going to be the first one that's a little more involved. We're actually going to get both the Queen and the King from here. They're both pretty fast. I believe when we routed this years ago, when the game initially came out, I was finding that the cutoff point for a teensy, if the teensy took more than like 17 seconds that you were dedicating to it, then it wasn't worth it. So, for these side rooms that you're going to go into to get the Queen and King teensies, that pretty much means you need to enter, and the cage that they're in, or, you know, however they're being held, they need to be freed in, in 17 seconds. So, like, basically instantly. When you factor in all the load times you have to dedicate and little cutscenes to enter them. You can see when he ground pounds into the water, and then when he comes out of the water, he can have these boosts of speed. Again, lots of ways to maintain your momentum in this game. Lots of ways that you're not even seeing right now on screen that a lot of people don't even only do even at like IL levels. One of the deeper movement engines I've ever seen in a 2D platformer. Having a little bit of trouble getting up here, is able to finally get over the enemy, not bad. Gonna use this hill to maintain a little bit of his momentum going down. Hit just that first vine. He doesn't want to break both of them, otherwise he obviously can't get up to this room. And this is our first Queen or King teensy. Ooh, took a hit right there. Not a big deal. As you can see, that's a very quick room. Normally they want you to like ride each of those ropes down really slowly, but you just slide down yourself. It's pretty fast. As you can see, getting a Queen or a King teensy does reward you with a heart. To note, if you have a heart and then you achieve another heart, whether through that or one that's just sitting around, you get 5 lums instead. Again, we're still not at one of the levels that we actually want lums for, so we want that lum count to stay low. But obviously they're taking a hit like you did in the Queen room. Not exactly worth it. Because again, for every 100 lums, it's only about a second save. So it's definitely on the scale of like minor optimizations that you're thinking about at that point. He's doing a ground pound right here. Normally, the game, a little bit of trouble. Yeah, it's kind of specific positioning that you have to have in order to get up onto that log with that ground pound jump. But yeah, again, normally the devs want you to go ahead and cut the ropes to bring that log down. Then you go all the way to the wall and go up. But a nice little optimization there by Twyn. So, the reason why the lums are going to matter in some levels, like they are here in this next level, Quicksand, is that... So I said out at 150, 300, and 600 lums, you're going to get access to the bronze, silver, and gold cups. Those are only good for, like, scores. However, halfway between the silver and gold cups is the lucky ticket, which for levels like these will be 450 lums. At lucky ticket levels, or when you get a lucky ticket, those are actually things that you can then scratch off. They're like scratch-off tickets that will give you access to other ways to get teensies, effectively. So you're going to see here, this being a bit of an auto-scroller. It looks like he got an achievement on apparently this copy of Rayman Legends, so good for Twyn. But you're going to see him in this, like, auto-scroller of sorts where you're scaling up, in addition to getting the teensies, which every teensy also gives you 25 lums, so that's pretty convenient. He's also going to be grabbing lums that are along the way, such as those lum strings. You see the strings of lums where the front of them is a purple one. If you're able to keep the string where you hit the purple one, and then you keep progressing all the way through. See, like, he broke that lum string, so those ones down there turned into yellow lums. Yellows are only worth 1, while purples are worth 2, so he needs to make sure he doesn't miss too many of these, otherwise he's going to have to waste some time at the end getting the 450 from other lums. Yeah, it looks like he's electing to do a strat. It doesn't waste any time, because he was able to hit that lever to make the platform start moving down early, but then went down to get some lums to make up for a few lum strings that he's messed up on the way. Getting another teensy here. One of the worst mistakes you can make early on in this game is missing one of those teensies. So that puts him at 418. Now make sure he gets that full lum string, and that should be good for him. He's at 428 right now, but this being sort of a chase level, he's getting one more teensy here at the end just from finishing the level, which that's going to give him another 25 actually on the counter. So that should put him at 453 and enough for the ticket, or 458. Oh, because he also, again, like I said, having a heart, and then getting a heart gets you 5 lums. However, if you end a level with a heart, that also is then transferred into 5 more lums. So, yeah, so going into that last chase, if he has a heart, and then is able to finish the level and get that last teensy, then he's able to get 30 more lums. So he only needs 420 going into that. Unfortunately, messed up a little bit of menuing right there and accidentally went out to see another level getting unlocked, or another world getting unlocked. This game gives you a lot of prompts whenever like a big event or something unlocks, like such as another world. So you got to make sure, and it's always going to be default on go check it out. So you got to make sure you click over and don't go check it out until later when the routing asks for it. So our next level here, this is our 3rd level now with Murphy having to control him. And again, for anybody coming in late, in order to do this, Murphy is not automated. You need to control both Rayman and Murphy at the same time in all these versions of the game that is not the Wii U. You can do it on Wii U as well, but it's very awkward. You guys have to play with 2 controllers. Whereas Murphy is controlled with 1 action button and then 2 buttons that allow you to like rotate, such as like L2 and R2 to rotate wheels or something. Playing a little bit safe, getting over that fire right there. This is the 2nd level of 10 that he needs to get the lucky ticket on. Oh, so he's able to get back. 2nd level of 10 that he needs to get the lucky ticket on. So he's actually going to have to focus a little bit. Even though this isn't an auto-scroller, it's a rather long level, so it's one of them that makes sense to get 450 lums on. And tickling that enemy back there is another very quick case of getting lums. Tickling him plus killing him actually nets you 30 lums, so it's worth it for getting that lucky ticket. Each of these skull tokens, just like the teensies, also net you 25 lums apiece. It looks like he's on good track to get to 450. He might even just for a little bit of marathon safety of sorts. Yeah, he's probably almost grabbed too many at this point. Looks like he executed a good roll jump there. Barely missed the ledge grab, but again, skipping a bunch of platforming there to get up to that enemy quickly so he could save that teensy. He's going to drop down here. Climb over all these guys and move into the final section of the level. As you can see, he's already sitting at 425 lums. I actually don't know why he died there. It looked like he clipped through the wall, almost. I was looking at a different wall. I was looking at the left wall. The optimal strat is you actually can jump and sort of do a quick turnaround and kick off of the left wall, which I always love to point out to viewers whenever I do it. I actually learned that from Game Grumps. I just never thought of doing that. And watching Aaron do it, everyone gives him crap, but I was watching their playthrough of the first, world of Rayman Legends that they did, a year ago or so. And sure enough, if you just turn back to the left, you can, despite how angled that left wall was, you can actually kick off of it and jump up, saving yourself just a little bit of time. But again, Twyn went to the right wall and looked like he almost clipped through it. It was very bizarre. So we're going here into the first of the 5 major bosses of this game. Again, if you beat all 5 of the bosses, 1 in each of the 5 main worlds, then you beat the game. So right here, this is a bit of an interesting strategy. He's actually going to kill all 3 of these enemies and then restart sequence. Because as you can see, the dragon pops up right behind you. Had he killed those 3 enemies and then just waited, the dragon would have slowly flapped up. But the flag that the game checks for to determine if you've hit this checkpoint effectively is once you kill those 3 enemies. Some people prefer, I go ahead and take a death abuse there. I'll just spin and kill the 3rd enemy and then dive right into the pit to kill myself. But alternatively, it looks like Twyn decided just to restart sequence. A lot of it is probably pretty negligible, the difference, and probably dependent on how quickly you can menu it. You can see there's a teensy back there that he didn't grab. He's going to get all the way to this platform and then shoot backwards, which snipes it off screen. Now, he does need to be careful. If he dies here, he would have to restart the level or get a backup teensy later on. Because now he's hit a checkpoint, and it checkpointed him before he broke the cage with the teensy in it. It is the Game Grump strat. I always bring it up because I love it. Then he's going to time it, jump off. This one's a little tricky to get down into. Looks like he didn't have too much trouble, though. And this is the 3rd level where he's going to be getting enough lums for the lucky ticket. 7 or 8 of the 10 levels that we get lucky tickets in, it's not even really worth noting just because you're automatically going to get them. As long as you get all 3 of the teensies in this level, which you obviously want to do, that's going to get you 75 lums, which in these smaller levels, like these boss levels, the scale, instead of being up to 600 lums, the scale only goes up to 100. So at 75 lums, 3/4 of a gold cup, that's going to get you another teensy. Looks like he's going to take a death strat here. I actually have never utilized the death strat myself. It doesn't look faster to me. I don't know if it's just preference. But we'll say it's faster, sure. I'm assuming it's some form of, it pushes along the cutscene or something. Yeah, you can see right there at 75, he got the lucky ticket. Also, shouts to another achievement. Perfect. He got the gold cup. He did a level perfectly. And again, that is the first of 5 bosses in the books. You'll see him use a little bit of menuing here now. in order to warp to Save Aurora. That's in your menu where whenever certain things get unlocked, say like those boss doors that we were talking about, or the little side rooms that are saving princesses, you're given the option in the menu like, hey, you should go check this out, and it will warp you directly to it. So we're going to utilize that actually to not have to be on the world map much at all, kind of the overworld of this game. And instead... Oh, nice movement there by Twyn. And instead just warp past, saving ourselves overworld time. Now here in World 2, you're going to see a big theme is that there's going to be wind tunnels everywhere. And wind tunnels are pretty nice because there's a lot of good, easy ways to just maintain your momentum and kind of, I mean, literally go flying places. It's going to get right up against that bone wall and then punch up, breaking both the bone wall and the bottom of that cage quickly. And utilizing a damage boost there, bouncing him backwards, saving some frames after grabbing that other one. Now you'll see right here, he actually did a ground pound underneath that pillow, which actually gave him a huge boost upwards, skipping him through a lot of the slow wind section. We'll see what method he prefers to use here. Yep. Looking like, yeah, he's doing the wall kick off of the stilts of the enemy on the right. And with that, he's got his 18Cs, and we are out of here. It looks like he's utilizing my, or not mine, but the kind of the 2.0 route of this game. That was made about a year after I made my initial route. Where we're going to be utilizing pretty much every single invasion level that we're going to have access to, which I'll explain the invasion levels when they pop up later in the run. But just judging that based off of a couple of teensies. Based off one queen teensie, or a king teensie, rather. The first one's always the queen, and the second one, the level's always the king. The fact that he didn't get the king teensie back there makes me see he's not using either the 1.0 or 3.0 routes. I'm still in doubt that the 3.0 route is actually faster. But we'll see. Ooh, unfortunately, got a little bit out of control right there. He died right after the checkpoint, though, so not a big deal. And electing to take the damage boost strat here, boosting himself up on that little ledge with the enemy, and then slapping it with Murphy to get him to boost upwards. Nicely executed Queen Teensy strat right there. Again, ground pounding through the bottom left one, which gave him a high boost upwards, hitting that top middle one to then boost him up to the Teensy itself, as opposed to having to bounce between all the pillows. Alright. Was able to cut a wall jump there. Ooh, okay, saved himself right there. Lost the heart, but that shouldn't be a big deal for this room coming up. He's getting his other King Teensy right here. Did move the platform back there. I generally prefer that, but... And again, a ground pound jump, once again, gives you that height from the bottom of a pillow. So he's able to get up and break that and save that Teensy without doing anything extra. Gonna sort of latch onto that wall right there before he makes Murphy move it up. Again, pulling him up with it, skipping a lot of that room back there. Charging through the last enemy and out. Got our full set of 10 Teensies from that level, and we are moving on. This should give him his final world opening prompt. And it tells you something that, like, all 5 of the worlds are now available to us. We could actually, and that's what opens up the routing in this game so much. At only 65 out of 700 Teensies, you have access to all 5 of the worlds that you could start progressing through. Now, you would still get blocked before you get to the final 2 levels of each world. The boss and then the corresponding mini-boss of each world. Which is actually not the boss that we have to get all these teensies to unlock. It's the mini-bosses. Which then the game checks, alright, once they've defeated the mini-boss, then we just automatically unlock the boss. It's not checking for a teensy count. Should probably see a death abuse right here. He's going to hit this cage. Oh. Oh, he paused a little bit early. Didn't actually get the cage. A little bit of interesting preference on his part to go ahead and restart a sequence as opposed to dying. Since you can, with an attack, a ground pound, break the cage and die simultaneously. I feel like probably in that instance for sure is a little bit faster. There are 3 death abuses throughout the run right now. At least last time I was a part of it. Going into one room here for the King Teensy. Again, if you're not entering one of these rooms and then just immediately blowing up or saving the Teensy, then it's probably not worth it. A little bit of an interesting squeeze himself in between the cage and the ceiling right there. Was probably trying to get a spin off of the cage, which would have simultaneously broken it and got him over. Giving him the access to later part of the level. That's a bit of a difficult strat right there. If you time your jump very late, then you can actually spin jump off of the edge of the platform, allowing you to get in front of the vines coming out, allowing you to keep that momentum and that speed shooting you across that little area as opposed to having to slowly glide across. So as you can see right there at 80 teensies, he actually unlocked the mini-boss of World 2. I believe, I don't remember the exact numbers, I believe they are at 30, 80, 135, 195, and 260 respectively. That each of the 5 mini-boss levels are unlocked. Now you're going to see we're going to have to go to just a couple other levels in order to get to 260 teensies. You can do it all from the 5 worlds, kind of the main campaign. But then obviously you're having to get a lot of slower teensies. You have to be going into all these little side rooms for all the kings and queens. Instead, we'll have a few other ways that we can creatively get to that 260 quota. This is always a fun little chase level to do. Okay, definitely a very, very fun speed game, just with kind of the natural speed behind everything. All the mechanics of the game very much want you to go fast. Right there, nice little maneuver on Twyn's part, able to do a ground pound and then sliding off of that tiny little log platform so he could skip over having to do a little floating section back there. With that, he's moving up, bouncing off these last couple of pillows, and once again getting to the end, getting the 25 lums and the teensy right there. In this instance, the lums are not important. But regardless, getting the last teensy. It's going to be moving on. You'll see a lot of times in the routing, you're pretty much never going to be able to skip the bronze cup. So you're not going to worry about that animation. But when you're really getting down to trying to optimize this game and this run in any percent, you're going to try to find any level where you don't need the lucky tickets. You're going to see, how can I get less than like the silver cup? Because again, you have to sit through that little animation of silver cup popping up. A little more noteworthy than just like individual lums. Alright, so here we are already at the mini-boss level of World 2. World 2 and 3 being a little shorter than Worlds 1, 4, and 5. Only 5 main levels. Or rather, 4 main levels, then a mini-boss, and then the boss itself. This is very... If you go quicker through that section, you can beat all those cycles, but it's pretty difficult to have good movement through it. And then at that point, you're kind of just having to wait for all the cycles. A bit precarious. Nice ground pound jump right there. Like, it's not even a jump, it's just... By ground pounding, that naturally is going to boost you high up in the air when you ground pound off of an enemy. It gives you that bounce, shooting you up that wind vent. With that, you can see that's a very quick... I mean, again, they're called mini-boss levels. Some of them will have mini-bosses of sorts. That one is just kind of showing all the flying toads. But regardless, they fall into that same classification. So now by beating that, which we needed 80 teensies to unlock, that now is going to naturally unlock this level, the boss level of World 2. Which when we started running this game back in 2013, yeah, late 2013, this was a level that killed a lot of runs just because of this boss. It was pretty easy to get caught in the wind section up here with the boss. If the boss killed you, then you went back to the start of the boss, which, as you can see, a lot of the deaths and such in this game are pretty negligible. They're, a lot of times, depending on when you die, you're not losing too much time. However, if you die to these heat-seeking missiles, or just run into the boss, then you're losing like a minute. So obviously something Twyn's going to want to avoid. You'll see him specifically moving to try to actually get close and kill some of these missiles before he has to get these shots. Oh, they're right on his tail. Oh, he got hit. He's able to get the teensy at least. We'll see what happens with these toads. He's not electing. Yeah, they're kind of between him and the boss. Ooh, he's then got to shoot back behind him. I think he's going to be safe. Okay, yeah, and once the boss... he kind of pause buffered it. Okay, so he actually took a death abuse there. It looks like it kind of gave him the same result. See, there, I actually like to restart the sequence instead. As soon as you see the boss in the background kind of give a little poof animation, if you die or restart the sequence, that'll kind of warp you over to the side, saving you a handful of seconds and starting that little cutscene with the teensy flying off. That was a bit precarious there, a little bit scary. Is able to avoid the death. And the routing of the teensies up to this point is also convenient enough to where you want to stay under 100 teensies collected. Because as soon as you get 100 teensies and you defeat the mini-boss of that world, World 2, it goes ahead and shows you, oh, there's this invasion level. Which what the invasion levels are is, if you played Super Meat Boy, for example, imagine it's almost like a Dark World version of worlds that you've already of levels that you've already beaten. So now you're gonna have to go through here. There are enemies everywhere. It's a time trial. He has to beat all of these in under 40 seconds. They're full of enemies that come from another level. And if he dies, the time trial starts over again. Looks like he played it pretty safe there. He's going to get looking like a low 30, 31 second time, a high 30. But yeah, the biggest thing on these levels, especially when you're trying to go for at least a solid time, is just don't die. Do not die on those invasion levels. You go back very far. You go back to the start of the level. Because it was the first time we had seen an invasion, he had to go look at it. So it kind of messes with the routing a little bit. That's why you're playing around it. It does look like we met some donation incentives, so I'll go ahead and shut up and let you guys listen to Castle Rock. Enjoy. And nicely executed there by Twyn. Those are always fan favorite levels, is doing the music levels. I almost wonder if he'll try to switch his route around a little bit, because technically, yeah, those are 3 teensies that would obviously not be in the route. Obviously, as cool as they are, pretty slow. Be interesting to see. I'm assuming he's probably just going to do the normal route, but also doing those along the way. But he could make the choice. Maybe cut out a couple of invasions or something at the end of the run. But here we are into World 3, sort of a food-based world. This is a very difficult level to optimize, in my opinion. And the first time we're going to be seeing Tiny Rayman, I believe. Yeah, I think this is the first time we actually end up seeing Tiny Rayman in the run. Tiny Rayman has ways that you can maintain momentum. So he does have some interesting strats to him, but overall, you'd like to be Tiny Rayman as little as possible. Ooh, missed that jump right there. Was able to recover, though. Now, it is important how quickly he moves into this side room where he's going to get a quick Queen Teensy. Or no, that's the King Teensy, actually, right there. Normally, the game wants you to use that soccer ball to shoot at it, which also would be really fast, but it's faster still to just jump across at it. Now, his movement is going to be important here to get up. Looks like he's probably going to have to take a second cycle here. Not too bad. Yeah, he's going to have to utilize this top wiener platform. Oh, he's still able to get up. Went down one more butter platform than he meant to. He's going to be going for a strat. He's going to be shooting across. Very nice strat here. Going up from the bottom. Breaking it, and then being able to catch the cycle coming out. Nice job there. Electing to go the normal path up using the left side instead of the right side wall. Right side wall saves about a second or so. Now we'll see how long it takes for him to get inside this watermelon. Okay, he didn't jump up like me, like an idiot, and try to shoot into it. Try to go for it once and then just simply slide into it. Very nice momentum being held right there. Blasting off of the cage and then maintaining that as Tiny Rayman. With the somersaults, shooting him way across the level. Again, it completely optimized levels. That sort of movement is all over the place. Where you can truly just fly through a level. Again, a very, very momentum-based platformer. Especially as a speed game. So overall, didn't have too many troubles there. Had a little bit of trouble with the butter platform. But a relatively strong playthrough of that level. Now we're going to be heading into another Murphy level. With an extra twist this time. Now, in addition to we're controlling Murphy, we're not going to be controlling Rayman. We are going to have Rayman play as a duck. Now, I made fun of the... I did a little bit of dogging on the Tiny Rayman from earlier, from the last level. However, the duck has very little movement tech to it. Again, with somersaults off of, say, like a bounce off of one of the pillows, you still can maintain that momentum. But other than that, you're kind of waddling across and taking these platforms. One of the slower levels in the run, but still definitely fast enough to make the cut. And our next level, because it's, not an auto-scroller, but almost like a pseudo-auto-scroller. Oh, he's falling down. Can he catch this cycle? Alright, yeah, he held up a little bit there just to be a little bit safe. But this being almost like an auto-scroller feel of sorts, he's going to be also getting a lucky ticket from this level. Probably the one where we have to go most out of the way to get our lucky ticket. You can see a little bit of an example of what I was talking about, where you can do a somersault off of the ground pound jumps and still maintain that ground pound speed. And moving into the side room here for the King Teensy, and doing a couple of ground pound jumps, and boom, we got a cage. Again, guys, if this is your first time watching the Speed Gaming channel, Speed Gaming actually has 4 different channels now, put on by people like Feasel and Mythical, in tandem with the different communities, the various communities that they work with within the larger speedrun community. A bit of a weird platform, weird guacamole platform that we put together right there. But yeah, there are lots of tournaments going on the other Speed Gaming channels as well, including this one. If you guys are interested in stuff like the Super Mario Odyssey tournament, the Super Mario 64 70-star tournament, I know there's a link to the past randomizer tournament going on right now, a Mega Man X any percent tournament. Tournaments going on constantly, including also restreams of events like this. It's awesome we have access to all these. Make sure to give all those channels a follow, and just constantly keep up on what all's going on them. Alright, we're going to try to catch an early cycle right here. Looks like he's able to get to the cage in time and gets back. It's slipping between the snake and that cake platform it's eating away. So very nicely executed there by Twyn. He's able to get the cage and get out in one cycle. Ooh, yeah, okay. Oh, no! Got poked in the butt right at the end. It's really hard to get through these spike platforms without taking a hit and losing your heart, but then utilizing your iframes to drop down and break the cage. So I was able to get a second try right there. Doing that damageless is extremely difficult, which you're actually forced to do, say, on like the PS4 version. Now he's pushing himself into the wall right there, and the snake coming by actually pushes him then. You take damage, but it pushes you into the horn, shooting you out the other end, saving a little bit of time. So we'll see if his movement is fast enough here. Oh, his movement was not quite fast enough, unfortunately, to beat that snake cycle. On the death abuse, though, it makes it a lot easier. Oh, but they got caught by the tail of the other one because his cycle was too fast at that point. Snakes on a Cake is actually one of the more difficult levels in the run. Ooh, then having a little bit of trouble here. Let's see if we're able to get through this. Alright. He's going to get up here. He's going to thankfully get this heart. Hold on to it. As you can see, the game starts ramping up in difficulty quite a bit as we get into these later worlds. And a little bit of movement tech right there. When you blast through a cage, or just like an object in general, you actually have it refunded so you can shoot a second time, which is Tiny Rayman actually kind of blasts you forward and drops you to the ground very quickly, saving a little bit of time each time. Now he's going to be going for a cutscene skip here. Let's see if he's able to get it. It's very tight. His movement down through here needs to be pretty quick. He's getting on this right side and is able to get it. So as you can see back there, you had the dark teensy and the female teensy right there, but you also got them moving right here. The trigger doesn't extend all the way over to the right, and if he can beat that snake cycle falling down, he's able to get the cutscene skip, which only saves 2 seconds, because otherwise you would just manually skip the cutscene, but still very cool to get regardless. So, a handful of hiccups there by Twyn, but we're able to get through. I was able to get the cutscene skip at the end. Executed some nice strats in there, including the opening strat to get the one cycle for the teensy cage. 6 on a Cake, one of my favorite levels for sure in the run. Lots of cool stuff going on in there. Unfortunately, yeah, it looks like... Yeah, I thought Twyn was a little bit off on his routing. He's going to have to go to another one of the worlds. I think maybe he thought because he did the... I think his routing might have got off just a little bit because he ended up going to the Castle Rock, shooting him out the other end, which put him out on the world map, so you might have got a little bit confused right there, but that's okay. So he's actually going to jump forward to World 5 now. Because kind of no matter what you do, you're going to have to break up World 5 into 2 trips. So now he's going to go here and just probably get a bunch of levels worth of teensies. So that hopefully with this and a couple of other levels, he can maybe do World 4 in 1 trip. Off the top of my head, just doing math. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to or not, but we'll see. So here he is on shields up and down. A lot of people at the highest level will tell you this is the hardest level in the run. Again, you've got another level where you're having to control Rayman, you're having to control Murphy. Ooh, takes a death right there. Getting hit by all those fireballs, bouncing him up into even more fireballs. So you need to be, once again, very specific on your timing of when you activate Murphy's action inputs, so that he's moving these shields and other platforms and stuff to help you out as soon as you want him to, and not a minute before or after. You can actually do these extremely cool shield boosts by getting on the end of a shield and then jumping off of it as you're having Murphy push it, which boosts Rayman forward, and you can maintain a lot of momentum off of them. Twyn taking it a little bit safer through the level, though. The level's difficult even without those tricks, for sure. Ooh, dropping down. Utilizing a basic technique, though, where you can basically infinitely climb walls just by jumping, hovering, and then kicking back at the wall to stop your descent. Be able to curve his way underneath these guys. Very little RNG there's very little RNG throughout the run. However, how these red guys, like what cycle they're going to be on, I don't know if it's RNG or just kind of practical RNG based off of cycles. Ooh, unfortunately, so Twyn wanted to actually keep this Zeus finger deactivated by staying kind of clipped in front of it. Unfortunately, he was a little bit slow, so having to actually use Murphy to move the shield across, turning this into a bit more of an auto-scroller. However, was able to manipulate the Zeus finger to actually break the teensy platform back there, or the teensy pole that it was strapped to, freeing the teensy. It actually doesn't give you lums because of that, but we don't want lums from that level anyways. So yeah, because of this kind of mishap in the routing, he actually got two of the most difficult levels in the run back-to-back there, actually, with snakes on a cake and shields up and down. And World 5 doesn't let up. World 5 is a very entertaining world when it's done right. Yeah, so it looks like, yeah, smart on Twyn's part. He's just going to do all 4 of the levels that we elect to do in World 5 right now, just so he can get his teensy count up. This is potentially going to allow him to not have to go to World 4 a second time. Getting on top of that cage right there so he can do a spin jump off of it, allowing him to not have to run back up that wall again. The only side room teensy, the Queen teensy right here, the only one that we're going to be doing in World 5. So you bring a heart in there, do a damage boost, bouncing you upwards, and you get right to it, as opposed to having to, like, lure the enemies away, then do some wall running and stuff. Much, much faster just to do it that way. Ooh, alright, was able to save himself right there. Ooh, oh, save himself again. Those enemies are not fun to fall into. And it's supposed to running all the way across, doing the wall jump off of the left side, shooting the cage along the way, and then allowing you to drop down. Never forget that teensy. That's probably one of the more common ones to forget. There's a lot of turnips and such in the ground that you get throughout the run. Or that are in the game, rather. And a nice ground pound off of that one drum. If you angle it correctly, you blast past the rest of those drums without having to use them. Running up the wall right here, and one final ground pound through this last area. Hold up, which you can buffer the input for, and that puts you at the end of the level. So very nice job by Twyn there. Well executed level. I'm assuming that's for 100, yeah. I'm assuming for 150 teensies, he got that next achievement. I love watching this stuff on a computer that didn't have it yet. One of my absolute favorite levels in the run, the Amazing Maze right here. You're going to see a sequence break right off the bat where he's going to jump. Instead of breaking that teensy cage, he's going to just jump off of it, setting him up the backwards way up to this other room, and then breaking that teensy as he comes down. Who did a jump right there, unfortunately, which caused him to get hit. So he's going to be down a heart now for pretty much the rest of the level. The Queen and the King teensy, that is actually the Queen right there that he just broke. Instead of them being in side rooms that you have to like go through a loading zone and everything for, instead they're just in other rooms. So it's actually fastest for us just to grab all 10 of the teensies here. They're basically just like regular teensies. But yeah, watching a player go through this level very quickly is fun. Just knowing exactly what to do as soon as you come out the other end. Rooms are very tiny, so you can blaze through them in like a second or two. Unfortunately, messed up his movement just a little bit there, getting hit by that spiked platform. As you can see, worlds like 4 and 5 especially get very, very difficult. And yes, in fact, once you're flipped upside down, your controls are then inverted at that point. So he does have to keep track of that whenever he goes into an upside-down room. He's able to skip the skull token there, saving him a quarter of a second. Very nice. And now moving into the escape sequence. A death here sends him back to the start of the escape sequence. Wasn't quite able to get the drum skip right there. If you can get a good angle off of that wall, you can then do a ground pound to hit that large drum on the left side. Ooh, letting that flame get a little close to him. Doing a well-executed ground pound there as well. Smart move on his part to bounce off the 3 of them. Giving him, again, that boost upwards when you're in the wind vent. So able to avoid any deaths. Had a couple of mishaps once again, but pretty well executed Amazing Maze. Get a level where you're going to run through it in like just a little over a minute and get 10 teensies. Very satisfying level to watch. Now that next level right there, the Great Lava Pursuit, one of the slowest levels in the entire run, was a very easy cut for us from the route. So instead he's just going to go over to the last normal level here. Finish it off, and then he can head back to World 3, do the boss, and move on with the game. Oh, nice. Able to skip over that ring. He's going to open up this pathway. Ooh, barely avoided getting hit by all the fuzzy-type enemies right there. He's going to take the wall run after baiting those enemies over. Grabbing another teensy in the hole right here. Again, utilizing that momentum to shoot over that slow chain and everything. And then jump over that Minotaur. Didn't clip him at all, so he didn't lose his momentum. Ground pound here to then get a jump off that platform. He needs to be very specific about his speed through this flame section. Put in just that little cute little baby hover in order to get that bounce off of that enemy to line it up. Just make sure he doesn't miss that crystal blast right there in order to get down and unlock the other teensy. I like him to do a slightly safer strat so he can take more time getting that teensy right there, not breaking the bone wall, getting the enemy stuck back there. Needs to be specific about this movement so we can get, if that teensy can be sort of out of reach while you're being chased by the fuzzy enemy. So he needs to make sure he platforms correctly off of those enemies. So pretty well executed level there by Twyn. Very nice job. Alright, and with that, World 5, he did all of the normal levels. The only things left to do here are to beat the mini-boss. But as you can see right there on the right side, we're going to need 260 teensies. That is the number we're working towards. So I'm assuming, yeah, he's going to try to warp back to World 3. May or may not do an invasion while he's here. It's going to be just kind of preference at this point. Yeah, he's gonna... looks like, no, he made a double decision there. Yeah. Going back, he's gonna go ahead and grab one of these right now. Again, there are, I believe, 11 or 12 invasion levels that we can unlock in the course of an 80% run. We're gonna do all of them. But again, they are some of the toughest levels in the run. They're kind of where, intentionally, Ubisoft upped the difficulty. Again, we have to do these a certain amount fast, not just because we're speedrunning and we want to go fast, but if you don't beat it in under 40 seconds, then you're not going to get all the teensies. At 40 seconds, you'll lose one of them. So it sort of forces you to rush a little bit. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, though, for Twyn. He's going to have to go off these last couple of chains. Hovering up. Yeah, high 36. So cut it a little bit close there, but still good enough to get all three of them. And that goes ahead and checks one off. Again, I think his route's kind of all over the place because of doing the Castle Rock level earlier. And with that, we go into the mini-boss of World 3, which was unlocked at 135 teensies. Again, earlier he had 133. We're going to have a chase level here of sorts. He's going to go back because you want to sort of let this lava move down a little bit. Ooh, looks like, yeah, he's going to have to take the damage to get up. It's alright, the damage boost is intended. Now, the sucky thing about this level is that if you go too fast, you lose a lot of time. This giant luchador who's chasing you, if you get too far ahead of him, it actually despawns him. So, Twyn's going to have to intentionally do some slower movements throughout the level just to guarantee that it's not going to despawn. It's really weird what despawns it. I ran this game in AGDQ 2016. I actually despawned it, and I thought I was going super slow. So it's not just about going slow. You have to go slow in certain spots. I found it rare that he would despawn, but of course it would happen, you know, on the AGDQ stage. But it looks like he was able to manipulate it correctly. And the luchador did not, in fact, despawn. Also, shout-outs to, I always have to give a shout-out to my boy Uranium Anchor for thinking that was a middle finger that luchador was putting up as he sunk into the lava. And he claims himself that Terminator 2 is one of his favorite movies. I'm shaking my head right now, guys. So with that, we're out of the mini-boss level. Again, it's the mini-boss levels that we're actually unlocking with the teensy counts, not the bosses themselves. But here we are, third boss of the game. Now we get to actually fight a luchador. And this is definitely, like, which he's well more than halfway through the run at this point. Due to having to do pretty much all of the World 5 levels on that trip due to the routing mishap. But this is what I like to consider almost like the intermission of the run, the halfway point. There's not much you can do to speed up this boss other than hitting the 3 pillows as quickly as you can, like the ones that shoot you up. And just a little thing in the community, we call all of them pillows, even though they're actually different skins of pillows, effectively, in each of the 5 worlds. This one, you've got, like, that star blue platform. But you can also see them as the little skulls that can blast you over to areas and whatnot. We just call them all pillows, just to keep it consistent. So after this, he should have quite a few tickets. Again, with his route kind of being all over the place, I can't be 100% certain where he's going to go next. I think you could end up seeing him do scratch 5 of his lucky tickets. Because he beat the Castle Rock, that actually got him 6 more lucky tickets. So he's actually for sure got enough lucky tickets right now. He doesn't even have to worry about it. He could even do some other levels if he wanted to. But what the lucky tickets are going to do for him is that it's going to, once you scratch them, you would think that, okay, I'm saying lucky tickets, so it's probably random what they give you. They're sort of pseudo-random. There are certain tickets that, like, the order you scratch them in, they will always give you the same results. Some of them give you lums, which are obviously not important in this run. Some of them will give you creatures that give you more lums, so also not important. But some of them will also give you single teensies, which are good. And some of them will give you, most importantly, the Back to Origins levels. When this game was delayed to late 2013, one of the additions they threw in was they gave you 40 HD remasters of levels that were in Rayman Origins, the prequel to this game. Or just rather the Rayman game that came before this one, which is, that's pretty cool. So you got those 40 HD remasters, and we're actually going to utilize the first 2 of them to get another, I guess it's 17 very quick teensies, in addition to a single teensy that you'll scratch along the way. So we should have more than 10, honestly, at this point. Look like he's electing to not use it right now, and not using... Yeah, I think he's kind of... I think he's just kind of all over the place. He doesn't know where to go next. Looks like we did raise enough money, though, so once again, I'll shut up and let you guys watch Mariachi Madness, which will actually get him 5 more, or 6 more tickets. So, enjoy. This is a lot of people's favorite. Once again, well done there by Twyn. So we're talking about the routing of all these lucky tickets. Because every time when you beat a music level that also, like, you get 1 right there just from playing the level. Like, you're just gonna get enough lums. But, beating a world also gets you 5 more, which technically when you beat the music level in each of these worlds, that gets you 5 more tickets. So... yeah, it looks like he's probably just going to like to jump right into World 4 here. He's at how many teensies? He's already at 180. So yeah, this will actually allow him to do all of World 4 in one go, effectively. He'll have to do 1 more invasion at the end. And not that he necessarily has to, because again, with doing those extra music levels, he could skip stuff now if he wants. This is thankfully one of the only just kind of pure swimming levels in the run. There's tech to swimming as well. A general technique in this game is that whenever you spin through, whether you're on ground or under the water, whenever you spin through an enemy or an object like a teensy cage or something, it actually refunds your spin. So you can actually do another spin off of that. Ooh, yeah. Didn't quite manipulate those correctly. If you go through them correctly, then you're able to effectively make them stop, allowing you to actually slip through some thinner parts, allowing you to not actually get caught by the lasers, and you can just blaze through the level. Not grabbing that heart right there. Probably going to use a death abuse right here. See if we can get to it fast enough. He is able to break the teensy, saving the teensy and getting killed at the same time. Checkpointing him earlier, but still letting him keep the teensy. I had a nice release from the water right there. Good job from him on that last little bit of movement. You can see getting very few lums there. Not getting the 25 from that last teensy he saved. Since he... Again, it's kind of weird how the checkpointing works. It lets you keep the teensy, but you don't keep the lums. Which is totally fine. Extremely convenient, actually, for speedrunning. Going here into... Our next 2 levels are going to be Murphy levels as well. Again, Murphy was going to be a big... I mean, he is a big part of the Wii U game. The Wii U version, when this was a Wii U exclusive. So, naturally, they put it in quite a few levels. Which, again, for speedrunning is cool, because, like, I personally think these are the most technical levels in the run. Again, just you having to control 2 characters at once. So, you're almost utilizing every single button on a given controller in order to do this well. Nice, interesting, little different route than what I do right there. Electing to not then go back up to the right and use the platform, just moving straight across to the left. I might even prefer that a little bit. Looks like he is doing a little bit different route here. Interesting. I'm not gonna lie, I don't even know what route Twyn's on anymore. Electing to grab the Queen Teensy right there, which is not in the 2.0 route of this. So I could see him now grabbing a few extra Teensies. In order to skip a couple of invasions at the end of the run. Yeah, did forget a teensy right here. He's going to have to, because he took that damage, he's now going to have to actually do this section casually, which wastes a decent little chunk of time. If you had the heart, you could have damage boosted through that section. You wouldn't have had to lower all those platforms and everything. Again, for a marathon, not a big deal, but something you think about when you're going for optimized times, for sure. This is a game of 1,000 little optimizations. Ooh. Very sorry, I'm a very popular guy. Looks like he's able to, yeah, kind of like I was saying in the last level, manipulating those different laser platforms and getting covered up at the right times to where you're never in them long enough to actually take the hit. So your movement through there with Rayman and Murphy has to be pretty specific. Now, the next level that we could have gone to, unfortunately, one of the coolest levels, but... unfortunately, just too slow to be in the route, Mansion of the Deep. It's a very involved level with really cool music and everything, but just too slow to be in the route. We go into another one of the hardest levels in the run, the Infiltration Station. A lot of just very specific movements you have to have through a lot of different rooms, utilizing both Rayman and Murphy and avoiding these death lasers. I'm just going to have to go back and get that teensy. It's going to put these cycles a little bit weird. Actually made them a little bit easier for him, going a little bit slower. Ooh, took a hit right there. Being down a heart right now is not a great thing. It is pretty easy to take damage in any of these little sections. You're probably going to see Twyn playing it a little bit safer now. He's going to want to, instead of going all the way around the room, he's going to want to go up the left side. Yeah, that is one of the dumbest wall jumps in the game. If you're just a little bit low, you're pretty much gonna die. Alright, so he's gonna grab a teensy here, and then coming up here, he's gonna probably go for a strat. We'll see if he's able to get it after this teensy, where he's gonna break a teensy through the ground. He was able to do it by creating a somersault at the right time, it sort of snaps Rayman's feet above. It clips it up, killing an enemy that's up there and freeing a teensy. Very cool strat. That's supposed to having to go all the way up there, saving a good amount of time. Yeah, Twyn being down that hard, he's moving a little bit slow through this section. But doesn't take the death, so well executed. Yeah, I was going to say, you actually don't want to do a spin jump here. It actually has Rayman in the lights for too long. That's what's actually killing him right now. Electing to also get this teensy. Again, looks like he's kind of got his own bit of a hybrid route right here. Again, making sure he broke the cage, was only in the lights just long enough to still break the cage and give him safety afterwards. So it'll be interesting to see what all Twyn elects to skip late in the run. Again, because of those 2 music levels he did, he could skip other things. Mainly at this point, his only real options are skipping a handful of invasions. Ooh. Yeah, unfortunately bounced backwards into the electricity, which cut through all of his iframes to where it didn't matter. See if he can still get through it. Yep, was still able to get through the level. Or through the room, I should say. Now, this last jump off this is very difficult. Yeah. Was able to get it, but unfortunately the Gate Guardian right there took him down. You have to manipulate this rope or this chain to go very high off the wall to get that grab. And is able to get over the enemy that time. Yeah, Infiltration Station, I would say one of the top 4 or 5 most difficult levels in the run, kind of showing itself off right there. A lot of just difficult, tight strategies that you have to pull off. Alright, so moving into the final normal level of World 4, before the mini-boss and the boss, it's one of, I think it is actually the longest level in the run. Elevator Ambush. And therefore the last one that kind of conveniently sets itself up to where we're going to get 450 loves off of practically not even trying. Getting ourselves our one of our last lucky tickets that we need. Again, not that we need them at all because of the music levels that he's already done. But always a cute little strat right here. And this actually does save time because you now won't get lums. Every time you kill an enemy, it gives you 5 lums in this game. By staying up high, he's going to let those enemies kill themselves. By dropping down and just triggering them every once in a while. You can actually stay up there until the very end of the elevator sequence, and then all of them kill each other at once. But yeah, quite comical watching them take each other out. Ooh, came down a little early, though. It's like he's going to be able to escape unless that last thing snipes him. All right, he's able to get out. Did lose his heart. He's probably going to elect to grab that heart, yeah. Smart move right there with this guy. These enemies are a little bit random, whether they'll throw an electric thing that will actually hurt you, just an electric piece of trash, or by throwing the rubber duckies, which still hurt, which still hit you and impede your progress, but they don't actually deal damage to you. Now, not having a heart here, also a little bit scary. Let's see what he's going to elect to do here for these lights. Yep, just kind of smart, just stopping in the middle of them. If you don't have a heart, it's a bit of a YOLO just to blast through there to see if you're not going to get hit or not. And here we are on the last of the second of the 2 elevator sequences. This one, we can't do the swag strats, unfortunately, because of the deadly lights that pop up. It's okay, because you do want a certain amount of lums. We still want to get to 450 in a kind of normal situation run. Ooh, how he did not take damage there. That was the most magical movement I have ever seen, that he did not take damage there, how he weaved through those enemies. I'm jealous, dude. How did he not die? I mean, I'm happy for him, but I'm also jealous. Alright, so here we're starting another chase sequence where we're going after the Dark Teensy, trying to save the female, the one he has captured. We don't put up with that here on speedrunning. Let her make her own choice. Was able to get that wall kick there off that pipe. Very nice. That's actually pretty hard to execute. Skipping that whole right section. And here we are on the final phase level. You can see, just a very involved level. So you might think to yourself, why wouldn't you skip this level? This seems really, really slow. You can't just skip any level in the game. There are many levels that are just required, and this is one of them. It's sort of, there's a lot of, like, when you go into a given world, there are groups of, 2 levels. And when you beat, say, either one of them, that'll unlock another group of, 2 levels. Or some of them will unlock just one specific level. And that's the case here with this level. It unlocks just this one, and until you beat it, you, in addition to having to get 195 Teensies, you have to beat that and this one in order to unlock the mini-boss. Which being the mini-boss unlocks the final boss. So while there are a lot of, open ends to how you can route this game, there is still a certain amount of structure that the devs force you into. And that's kind of one of the few cases where it's a little unfortunate that that level is always going to be in the route, because, as you can see, pretty slow. But at least we're done with it now. And we have 214 of our 260 total Teensies. And we move into the mini-boss of this level. Pretty cool chase sequence level, where we're going to be chased by this dragon-like enemy underwater. It bites you, you're dead. It does not matter if you have a heart or not. You're going to see Twyn's going to elect more once he goes into, a new direction. That's when he's going to spin. The water, you can kind of barely tell on the particles and the graphics. It's shooting you forward, that's why you're swimming so fast, which is exhilarating to do. But until you want to actually change your directions, spinning underwater doesn't actually make you go faster. Ooh, he did bonk into the wall right there. So yeah, he's pulling out a good improv strat right there, shooting down so that the missiles don't hit him, because you want to keep this heart. It's one of the most important hearts in the entire game. Because coming up here, you're going to see all these lasers, and he's going to elect to just have the heart and damage boost through the top laser, skipping over this entire little section, getting him through the end of it. So it should be right here. He's going to hold on to his heart right there, slipping underneath the bottom, very nicely executed, and then just shooting through that last laser, utilizing his iframes and getting through that entire little section. Any death there would have sent him back very far in the chase sequence. So he did not want to lose his heart there. Yeah, very well executed level there by Twyn. I can't hear it because I have no audio, but I saw people clapping in the background. That deserved a clap, for sure. And with that, we're done with the 4th mini-boss level, unlocking the boss right here. Again, after this boss, we're actually done with all the normal levels and all the bosses and everything of the first 4 worlds, and all we'll have left is the final boss. But again, we need to fill out that teensy count. Who was able to catch the top cycle for that teensy back there? Very nice. Again, we need to get to 260 to unlock the 5th and final boss. So we're going to have to get a little creative and do some things not in sort of the main campaign in order to get us to fill out that count. Again, you're playing the game casually, you're going to get more than enough teensies, but we obviously skipped quite a few slow teensies throughout the run and slow levels overall. Ooh, looks like he might, yeah. Look, he started lowering down a little early there. It's okay. He's got a heart right above him right here. You can get to refill that. And this is actually the last level where we're going to be getting a lucky ticket. So, if my math is correct, because he did 2 extra levels, he's actually going to have 22 lucky tickets right here, which is interesting to me because at 22, you actually unlock the next really good... Oh, he's swagging out a little bit too much right there, hung out above the thing, above the thing blocking you. Ooh, and missed a cycle from his swag. He's messed around a little bit too much there. This actually wastes a lot of time. Yeah, electing to just take the death abuse. Not 100% sure if that he elected to or not, but he did. So, we'll have to be a little bit more careful this time. It's a little bit of a tight cycle in order to get over this wall and then float down to him and then start shooting him in time. Alright, so there you go. Was able to catch the cycle. It's quite a while till he lets you attack him again, so kind of either way, it was going to be a big time loss, death abuse or not. But at 22, so the 2 Back to Origins levels that he's going to unlock will be at 5 and 10 lucky tickets respectively, which we normally get 10 in the route. Because he has 22, he could go for the 3rd one. I believe the next one unlocks at 24. The next one technically unlocks at like 14, but it's a super slow auto-scroller. You're never going to do it. The next one unlocks at either 22 or 24. At 22, if he decided to scratch the tickets, he could do dashing through the snow. I don't imagine he knows how to do that. Well, because he ran Rayman Origins, he probably does know how to do that one pretty fast. But he might not necessarily know where the teensies are. It'd be kind of interesting if he busted that out. But again, I'm not certain if at 22 lucky tickets, if he's able to get it. But sort of an interesting situation to be in with him doing the music levels in the run as opposed to after the run. We'll also see, I don't know if they've made enough money in the marathon. I don't know exactly when they unlock each of the music levels. We'll see if he elects to maybe do another one right here or not. But if he does that, that would actually cut down on a bunch of the invasion levels that he'd have to do at the end of the run. So we're at 220 total. We need 40 more teensies in order to go finish the game. He is doing this one. So, okay, he's going to have more than enough lucky tickets for sure to do dashing through the snow. Man, now I want him to do that route. Again, I don't know if he knows it or not. But I'll shut up. Enjoy the music. I'm sorry, I have been muted from the music section the whole time. Well, welcome back, guys. Sorry about that. But yeah, he's electing to do these Back to Origins levels. The first two. He actually got enough lucky tickets throughout the music levels earlier in the run to where he could, if he wanted to, actually do another one, which at this point would probably be faster than doing a number of the invasion levels. The third Back to Origins level is very, very fast. He would have to scratch a number of tickets, though, and he might not be familiar with the levels, so I could see him also not doing it. And with that, that puts him at, he got 9 more right there. So what's this total up to? So he's at 242. He needs 18 more teensies in order to finish off the game. So it does look like, yeah, he's going to elect, he's got to look around a little bit here because the route's kind of messed up. He needs to find probably either, yeah, Worlds 1 or 2. Yeah, so at 18, that means he only needs to do 6 more invasion levels, and he'll be done. Probably elect to do 3 here. He's also got the princess level. Yeah, he's just kind of at an excess point right now because of getting the teensies in the music levels. I would imagine the way he's kind of moving around that he's just going to get to the 260 minimum and then just go ahead and finish the game as opposed to doing all of the invasions like we would normally do. So doing this princess level real quick. These princess levels are these side rooms that, in the worlds, that give you access, they unlock the princesses, which are other playable characters. This is the only one that's fast enough right now to be in the route. As you can see, you just fall a lot. If you know where to ground pound, you can skip past a lot of little sections. Get 3 teensies, get out. Just making sure, yeah. People in chat can hear me, right? Alright, so now we're back into the invasion levels. He only needs 5 more to fill out his 260 count. Okay, people can hear me. I just want to make sure. Again, these are the ones, this is the part of the run when you're doing runs where it's the biggest choke point. Because again, deaths up to this point, you know, generally are like 5 to 10 second mistakes. You have a late death in one of these invasion levels, you go back to the start of the invasion level, which like if you died right now would be like a 31 second mistake. Even more than that because of having to watch the 3, 2, 1 countdown. So the nice thing about doing the music levels for him, even though it's slowed down the run quite a bit, is that he's not going to have to do nearly as many of these invasion levels. This one I find to be one of the biggest choke points. I remember losing 2 minutes on this level back when I ran this at SGQ 2014, which sucked because it was in a race. It's just very easy to be off on your platforming just a little bit. The cycles are just a little off once you take a death. So now that he took that death, it'll be interesting to see where he's at. Probably going to like to throw on just a little, yeah, just 1 kick right there. Little hover as well to just line up those hits just a little bit. Trying to avoid these snakes, slowly hovering down, playing it a little bit safe. Looking like he's still going to be able to get a 28. So I should probably have only 3 more. Be interesting to see if he elects to do this other invasion level right here, or if he elects to just go over to World 1. Yeah, I think he's probably just going to stay on the route. A lot of indecisiveness on Twyn's part today. Not exactly knowing where he wants to go. Again, the incentives probably messing with him a little bit. At least routing-wise. Taking an unfortunate death. Again, at least dying early, so not a big mistake. At least not a costly one. This one, if you get off just a little bit, again, all these the cycles of the missiles and the orbs and everything are just going to be off. The platforms moving up and down. You can go through this level pretty fast. I was able to get that little cute hop off of the parachute enemy. Ooh, got caught there, but it didn't cost him a death or anything. So I'll put him at 254. He only needs 2 more sets of 3 teensies, and he's at 260. And it looks like he is going to elect to do 1 more music level. Yeah, it looks like they've raised enough money to where he's electing to do them. So after this, he only needs 3 more teensies. Anyways, enjoy the music. I'll shut up. It was subtle, but on like that 4th to last enemy, he almost took a death. Would have sent him back a little bit. Alright, so again, only needs 3 more at this point. Probably see him just do an invasion level. Yeah, it looks like he's electing to go to World 1. There's 1 in World 3, there's 1 in World 4, there are 4 in World 1. So probably a little bit slower technically because he's having to watch all of these spawn, but yeah. Again, I would imagine he's just going to do these 3, this 1 level to get the 3, and then he'll just move on to the end, but we'll see what he elects to do. Of the ones he could have picked in World 1, this is actually, like, the slowest one, just because of the extra load screens that you have to go through. Some of them actually having these, like, extra, like, actually being broken up by runes, so... Even though technically by the timer in the top right, it's about the same speed, it's overall quite a bit slower because of those extra load screens. Is able to get it, though, in 1 try, so very nice. So again, we'll see what his decision is, if he wants to do the other invasion levels, or he might just stop right here. Yeah, he's electing just to stop there. Looking like at the rate he's going, he'll probably barely come in underestimate or just go over. Doing all those extra ones would have pushed him a few more minutes over. Alright, so this is, for a lot of people, I would maybe vote this the single coolest level in the run. Normally the game wants you to to run down all these walls and do a bunch of wall jumps and everything. Instead, we're just gonna fall. We're just gonna fall through everything while these blade saws are buzzing right past us, while literal dragons are chasing us. It's a pretty cool level. It's very difficult to execute as well, so let's see how well he's able to do. Was able to avoid the dragon death right there. There is an invisible void where it'll kill you. He does need to slow down sometimes because, again, we are in also a Murphy sequence right here where he has to use Murphy to move blade saws. Very difficult right there because, again, Rayman's naturally going to want to, like, latch on to any walls that are close to him. So he needs to be careful to not get too close to those. Otherwise, the dragons will kill you pretty much instantly. And he's going to drop down through here, avoiding these blade saws. Ooh, took a hit, losing his heart. That's his safety heart, though. He should be able to drop through the rest of this. He has to get through a couple more blade saws and got through the last one. Alright, so now he's through the sequence. He's just got these 3 dragons he's got to get by. Using these somersaults to give himself some more momentum, getting past them a little bit easier. Utilizing just the bottom platform, taking it a little bit safe right there. Able to get past the dragons, should be in the clear. Very nice only having 1 death here. On accident did save a couple of teensies, which is going to waste a little bit of time in the count-ups afterwards, but still only 1 death. Very nice, very well executed. So that's the final mini-boss level, and that sends us into the final boss of the run. Which is actually, I think, a really cool final boss for the run. There's so many little ways to optimize it for a speed run. Lots of cool platforming in between the actual fight segments. We'll see how quickly he can disperse. He can destroy the different pieces of this boss. So the boss itself is actually this, like, smoke hand that's chasing him. It's in 3 different boss phases that you have to fight this guy. Effectively, once you have broken the different pieces, electing to actually restart the sequence there, it might make this setup a little bit easier for him. Ooh, took the hit right there. Once you've broken enough of the main chunks of the boss, that's when it blows up. Did elect to go over and get the heart. Ooh, bit of a slow first phase here, but able to get it. And then he restarts the sequence there because, like the boss back in World 1, it actually progresses you further in the cutscene, allowing him to then, if he mashes out jump, it will give him a jump off of what it thinks is ground, but obviously you're not, you're just sitting in the air, jumping you way high up in the air, sending you up fast through the wind current. So it saves him a handful of seconds there each time. Pretty significant. Now he's going to shoot off the side, just kind of showing your mashing skills here, how quickly you're able to break these different bosses. Everyone's got different routes. I like to just sit in the bottom right corner until they all die. Yeah, a little bit of a slow second phase for him here as well. He's able to get it, though. I elected to also not do a restart sequence there. That one saves less time. Gonna bounce off these pigs, which are the pillows of this... Of at least this level. Doing a ground pound there, allowing him to shoot up through that last wind current. Now this is the final phase of the final boss. This can be very difficult to execute. Done extremely well, you can kill him in like 2 circles, 2 cycles of him moving around. Again, it's not about breaking every single little piece, it's breaking up all the big chunks. If there are any big chunks left, he survives. So he's going to be using those fully charged fists to blaze through each of the different chunks of the boss, like going all the way across its body. Look like he might have a little bit of a slow kill here as well. He's still got 2 or 3 big chunks left. So done completely well, the boss would have died on that last platform back there. He's going to be shooting up, just spamming, trying to get rid of the rest of it. Looks like he's able to get it. It's only 1 extra pass, so in 3 cycles able to get it. And with that, that does finish up the game. He's going to have to jump across these last couple of platforms. Hit 1 more Dark Teensy in the butt, and he'll finish it off. Looks like it's going to be a low 146, maybe a high 145 time. Yeah, looked like it was a 146 on the dot, looking at the clock for me. So only 1 minute over the estimate. Pretty good considering he did 4 music levels. He elected to do those in the run. So GG to him. Yeah, make sure you guys give Twyn a follow. He actually speedruns a lot of different games, learning games such as Super Meat Boy and Mega Man 2, among others in the past. Also runs the Rayman games. Nice of him to do Rayman Legends, considering this is probably not one of his like top 10 most run games he does. Still knows it well enough to do it a marathon though. And as you guys can see in the top left corner of the screen, the end is nigh. A very difficult platformer will be coming up after this, followed by 1001 Spikes as well. And it does look like he is going to like to do the 5th and final main music level, taking on. So I'll just shut up and let you guys enjoy. I have to call it out. He missed the teensy there. Come on. Ooh, came up a little short there. Almost had Deathless for all 5 music levels. That last platforming section is difficult. And it looks like with that, they're giving him an official time of 1:49.08, with him doing everything. Well done by Twyn. Rayman Legends, I'll just go ahead and throw out there. I love this game. I think it's actually a great speed game. There's, not to throw any shade at Twyn or anything, there's actually, this game can get a lot deeper in its movement engine than what you saw today. So, if you're ever looking for a 2D platforming speed game with a very deep movement engine with just a million optimizations to it, this is a great game for that. So, yeah, it looks like with that, it looks like Twyn is done. I'll kind of clarify. I'll just clarify that he is done or not. Yeah, looks like they are closing out of the game. So, again, guys, one final plug just for speed gaming. Speed gaming is actually across 4 channels. You get to watch all sorts of competitive gaming and other big events like this done. There are tons of tournaments going on right now, including Super Mario Odyssey Any Percent, Super Mario 64 70-star tournament, the Link to the Past randomizer tournament that are all in various stages. Mega Man X, I know, is going on right now. There's actually a ton of tournaments just constantly going on. So any of that stuff interests you guys, make sure to give all 4 of these channels, Speed Gaming 2, Speed Gaming 3, and Speed Gaming 4, all a follow. There should be some more tournament matches, I'm assuming, going on throughout the day, and we should be doing more restreaming of this event right here, this French speedrunning marathon. So thank you guys for having me. Again, I'm Spike Vegeta, and I will see you guys later. Hope you enjoyed the Rayman Legends run.